Everybody, it is June 7th, Sunday, June 7th, and we're looking for potential couple setups for this week, doing some Sunday prep. I have 4 names I'm going to review in this video: NFLX AMD SHOP and INSG. Didn't have a review video yesterday, didn't get any swings from last week, got chopped around a bit in swing trades, and day trades were fun in some DraftKings and Tesla and some of the more volatile day trading names. So a couple of different swing trading setups here. So starting with Netflix. So on this move, we're starting up at the monthly. Because my typical swing time frame is a week or under, the monthly isn't hugely important, but something to consider with larger structures in play. Something that's notable is against this 458.97 level, we had some wicks, upper wicks of profit taking, suggesting some weakness up here as we approach earnings next month. Bears need to see a break of this 397.86 level, at which point we would just be looking for a healthy monthly higher low on any consolidation anyways. So bulls are looking just fine for now. On the weekly, we see we're looking for a weekly higher low. We had this dip down to 397.86 the week before last, and this weekly inside bar structure with the range being contained within the range of the prior week on decreasing volume. I also thought that was interesting. Originally I was looking for a potential bull swing with a break over 428.71, then looking for a lower high under 458.97. So looking on the daily. So the daily we see something interesting. These are pivots. The orange is a standard pivot line. The blue is the demarc pivot line. We saw rejection from these levels as well as this EMA pack, the 12 and 26 last week. So we had this bounce. Inside bar bear break after this lack of a break over this key level, which I'm going to get to in a minute, and then a bear break and straight into a bounce. So this is a key level here. The pivots show that the initial rejection, but the price level is more interesting to me. 427.59 is that key level. We had a break above it, but unable to hold. Bulls were unable to hold above that level. On this consolidation, we are just looking for a daily higher low relative to 397.86 and then a bull break of 427.59. That would be the setup that we're looking for to retest that 458.97 level. We have a potential other resistance zone at this 453, but I'm more concerned about this setup here. Looking into the hourly, I think this had a bounce. Yeah, this was the bounce straight from the lows on Friday. So this was near the opening bell. This is the 404.25 bounce. Pretty much a straight hourly bounce. You had a little hourly trend change here, but I don't really consider that significant. On consolidation, bulls can look to enter off this 404.25 level on the hourly that we would need to see that bull break and continuation on the daily, given those daily levels that I just gave. The monthly, the bear look is also interesting. So going back to this monthly structure, we have these upper wicks of profit taking right into these key resistance zones, the R2s, that set this 458.97 top. So we have these upper wicks of profit taking, monthly inside bar forming. If bears can break this low, the 397.86, and this low here, the 393.60, we're then looking for the monthly higher low. The structure that we see forming is a potential head and shoulder setup. You have your left shoulder, you have your head, and you have your right shoulder that's starting to form. So if the bull scenario plays out, where we get a bull break of 427.59, you're then looking for that lower high under 458.97. If bulls are unable to break that level, they have to be cautious of this head and shoulder setup. The key levels for that setup that would confirm it are these two levels here, 397.86 and 393.60. So if bulls were get this break and are unable to break 458.97, I would be cautious as a bull because they would want to defend this level. It's possible to break this 458.97, of course, but we would need to see significantly increasing volume on the weekly as we're seeing this trend decrease. So I don't love that setup, but I don't mind a 2 to 3 day swing if we get a good hourly trend change in this level and then some continuation above the 440s, at which point I would be looking to profit take and potentially get short depending on some other signals that we're seeing. You can also maybe hold commons and swing some puts or something against this 458.97 level. I think that would also be a suitable hedge as we look for a bit more information on this monthly time frame and this the structure to formulate. Okay, AMD, second one here. Again, let's stick with the high level time frames first. Again, see this upper profit taking on the wicks of the monthly candles. We see some interesting volume signatures here given these candles, but we did just look for a monthly high or low, inability to break this this high here, 59.27, and then we're getting some consolidation of the sideways range. Before I was looking for a weekly cup and handle where you had this structure here, inability to break 59.27 on this test, and then starting to form this handle. Now it's looking like that structure is breaking down a little bit because it's not as clear. We double bottomed, excuse me, perfectly on this 49.09 level. That was a week before last, and then we had a weekly inside bar again on decreasing volume. Anything else I want to point out on the weekly? No, that's it for now. Daily's also interesting. So this is the perfect double bottom of 49.09 relative to the prior. We had this bounce into this pivot zone again. So the pivot zone is a key foundation base of control that bulls want to get over to be bullish for the month, as these pivots for the daily and the end of the month, and under is bearish. When we see rejection, we see dips being bought by bulls here. Bought. A little bit of rejection here. Bought again. So we're seeing this consolidation range on some increasing volume. So volatility, or volume rather, is just increasing. Where volatility is starting to contract as we get a tightening range. The main point here, because the hourly and 4 hour I find quite choppy. There isn't a clear trend there as we're either accumulating or distributing around this range for the eventual move. Bulls want to get over 54.11 to see a test of these upper bound ranges and that potential weekly cup and handle type formation to follow through a bull with this break of, what's this level up here, the 59.27. If bulls are unable to, then there is not much price action for support down here. There's a couple different levels like this one that would need to hold. Otherwise, we're just looking for a weekly test of the 49.09 and a potential consolidation on that larger time frame on the monthly. So it's really this daily pivot zone that is my area of interest between this 54.11 and 52.01. Bullish above, bearish below. Shop. Let's open this up a bit. So shop, where we had a monthly higher low in continuation. Really big bull moves. A couple big players in the chart guys room have been trading this quite efficiently. It's been interesting to see them work. See this upper wick of profit taking into the R3, the highest resistance zone for the year. You can see this ends in January of 2021. Monthly inside bar so far on relatively small volume. We're only 1 week into June, so we need some more information there. Weekly is looking totally fine. We're looking for a weekly higher low. Last week was a weekly inside bar, meaning the range was contained within the prior weeks. We see bulls are eager. We have dip buying of the last couple of weeks, so decreasing volume within the last week's range as we get some consolidation. Again, let's look into the daily. So these pivots are showing us something similar to AMD, where we had this strong dip buying. I covered this, I think, in a prior video, where the dip that dip was bought on a significantly lower volume than the sell-off. Just because the order book was cleared out. I think that's why it bounced so hard. We had this decently strong bounce. It was weak until we got over this pivot initially in these EMA pack, but bulls were unable to hold that level, so we sold off. Although on smaller volumes, still sold off. Dip being bought now under these this key point of control, which are these pivot zones. Bulls want to get over and break 784.30 to be in control. If bulls are unable to break that level on in any bounce in the daily here, we're looking to either consolidate within a equilibrium type range So if we're unable to get this break, we want to look for a tightening range and then an eventual break, or potentially a failure to hold this recent 703 level and a break to lower lows. If we do see a break to lower lows from that 703 level, we're still just looking for the weekly higher low. So in the grand scheme of things, bulls are certainly still in control and just looking for a strong level where they see a notable buying and a shift in that supply and demand type look that we look for accumulation. Let's look one last thing for the hourly. I think this also had something interesting. Yeah, so the bulls, oops, that's not what we want. Let's go here. The bulls' last ray of hope right here. I won't say last ray of hope, but what bulls are certainly looking for is a break of the 733.74 level. We saw this bounce off the 702, strong dip buying, consolidation, decrease in volume, weak volume up to this level to set this hourly lower high, and now an hourly higher low is trying to be set after hours close. On Friday it was 725.01. Bulls want to break and hold over that 733.74, at which point the next test would be this resistance zone up here. You have 784.30, you have this pivot 760.60ish, and then you would be over this. You would be over this level. So we're looking for some constructive buying and potentially a bit more information to be confident of a setup here. That hourly trend change may be your first scale in for me for a 1/3 of a full position entry. I would want to see how bulls are managing within this range before adding a second or third lot to that trade. INSG, this is my last ticker for today. I've played this with call options. I believe they were June, I don't know, they're monthlies. They're this coming week's expiry. I played it off at this 928 level after getting chopped up a bit playing commons. They were $10 monthlies. Sold them for profit last week, or it might have been the end of the week prior. Nonetheless, we saw there was a zone here on the hourly that I found interesting when I got into the calls. I'm going to cover for a sec. We had this move here where we had run-ups and then sell-offs. Run-ups, sell-off on big volume, notable volume. Pop, sell-off, pop higher, sell-off on big volume through the day. Same. Then we had this look here, notable buying, breaking through this resistance zone of the 1020, 1042, 1064, where we saw heavy selling. Saw a break and a hold initially above that level. Then we saw consolidation, weak bounce, selling. So there's a lot of selling pressure up here. And that shows us, and that's reflected in the chart formation where we had this pop up to the 1175 level, which I think was a fib zone. And then anyways, we pulled back looking for a daily higher low. Bulls saw some notable buying in the dips. Daily inside bar, that bull broke again. This was a bull's last ray of sunshine, or last ray of hope really. On this bull break, I knew we were looking for a daily lower high under the 1175, so this is when I sold my calls. We had this daily doji as we were looking for this daily lower high under 1175. Bear broke and then broke the prior low of 990. Now looking for a weekly higher low in this 928 to hold. It looks like the selling is slow, albeit to the bear side. So we have a 4-hour downtrend. If we get the aggressive selling and 4-hour oversold conditions into that 928 level, I wouldn't hate it for a bottom fish. Otherwise, I may be more patient here and just look for some consolidation on the monthly if we see this confirmed weekly downtrend into the rest of the month. Potential buy down to the 856 level, maybe something around these EMA zones as we approach earnings in a couple months here, it looks like. So that's all I got. If you have any questions, feel free to post in the channel, in the room if this is posted there, or down below in the comment section on YouTube. Thanks.